So they could be very realized people with no siddhis. But that's not really possible.
I have no knowledge about that actually. So people I've met which I feel have had this quality, definitely had some abilities. But like Maharaj, for example, like Maharaj will not use anything. Maharaj, you were sick with Maharaj, he will send you to the doctor. He said, don't come back, you're sick, why are you here? Go to see a doctor and come back later on. With Jean, Jean will never want you to see a doctor. He will tell you what to eat, what not to take antibiotics, how to treat yourself with bath and cold and heat and warm and sun and shade and rubbing and fasting and eating this and not eating that. And so it was very different, So, but Maharaj had this CD of presence, when after 3-4 days of Maharaj, I myself have no link with this formulation of Maharaj, that I amness, because I was coming from Jean, and Jean don't formulate like that. But after 3-4 days, I was taken by this, without the formulation, but just the feeling of I amness. That was a CD from Maharaj, because you could not resist that in a certain way near him. And with Anandamayi Ma, you were taken by a silence. Anandamayi Ma expressed more CDs than Maharaj, because Anandamayi Ma, for the Kali Puja, she was becoming Kali, and people would see her as Kali. Myself, I was not allowed to see her during the Kali Puja, but I saw her just after, when they would bring her back. She was still in Samadhi, they carry her body. It was sort of impressive, but that she's sort of unique in India. It's not a guru. She's an avatar. So it's different.
How long did you spend with Maharaj?
Not long, because I was with a friend and she became sick, and so I had to take a bath. No, we spent 10 days, but it was very strong. When we arrived, he was not there. It was Catherine, and I felt the same thing as with Jean. I told Catherine, you feel the vibration? She said, yes. I said, well, it's like Jean. So we moved back to the hotel, then went back to Ketwali, not the most elegant part of Bombay. It's the street with all the prostitutes in cage. And so we came in, and I was still not there. So I was allowed to go up, I don't know why, she stayed down. And then the man came in, and some face. I had a feeling it seemed, but something in me I could not. It was so un-Guru style that and then he looked at me and he began to whip up things. So I took something and I cleaned things with him and took a carpet, we shook the carpet together. And then somebody woke him and jumped on his feet, and of course it was him. So he looked at me, I looked at him, and he had a big smile. But he was very strong. After, when you went to Maharaj, he will always make you sit in front of him. Say, well, why are you coming? Then I have no reason. No, it's not true. Why are you coming? Somebody told you I'm realized? I said, no, I'm coming. My guru asked me to see you. And he was kind of antagonist, and he was so antagonistic that after a few minutes I said, well, I'm telling you I'm not coming because I heard you realize, but if you don't want me to come back, I don't come back. And then he smiled and he said, no, come back. So come, and after a few days, 2-3 days, he said, you have guru? I said, yes, I told you. And after 4-5 days, very often he will ask me what your guru will say. And it was interesting, but very often he was the opposite. Like for example, Maharaj will very often said, you must see that you will never die. And said, what your guru said. And I knew that Jean would never say that, but I said my guru would have said, see that you were never born, that is second-hand information. So it was make him laugh very often that Jean would say the opposite. If I would not have met Jean, I would have stayed with him, totally. But we cannot have two gurus, so... and Jean sent me to see him, because Jean saw the book, I am that, and he said everything in the book is perfect, but you have to see who say it, so go and see him. So I went to Bombay for Jean, to see Maharaj. So come back and spend nearly the whole night with Jean. Two of us talking about Maharaj.
Is it true that in Maharaj's living room is quite small?
Small and very dirty. And then there is about 10 sticks of incense, and then he spent the whole time BDs, 10 BDs, 10 minutes. So there is smoke, you cannot see anything. He was so dirty that, when you go to see a guru in India, you wear white, and so I had a white lungi. And so when I would leave, my house was black. The floor was plastic, very dirty. Yeah. So when you leave a guru in India, you need to make a gift. So the last day I went there, I went to see I said, listen, I want to make a gift, an offering for Maharaj, and I want to offer a floor. I didn't say every time I leave, I have black trousers. So we went to Maharaj, and he said, you want to offer a floor? I said, okay. So we went, and I chose a nice, for my taste, nice linoleum floor. And we came back, and Maharaj went wild because it was too expensive, too luxurious for him. And then I left, and he asked the man, he said, take it back and buy a cheaper one. But I left, I didn't know why, what happened. No, it was very strange for a guru because it was extremely vulgar, which in guru are not vulgar in India. He will use in Marathi things Brahman are not allowed to say. Brahman are not allowed to mention the name of the sexual part of a woman, if you're a real Brahman. And Maharaj will use a lot this kind of slang. And so the three translators, one was Ramesh, and the two others were serious, they would become red when Maharaj would say, and so they would try to translate in different way. And Maharaj was not stupid, he wanted exactly to translate what I said, and so it was very difficult for them because Brahmins are not allowed to say things. It's true in many traditions, like in Japan, for example, we heard from the daughter of Ushiba, the Aikido teacher, Japanese traditional men cannot mention the socks. It's dirty to mention the socks. So it was so that his daughter will leave socks in the middle of the room, and Ushiba will say, take this thing away, and the daughter will say, what thing? To force him, and he never said the word socks, because in Japanese it was very improper to say. So for Maharaj it was like that, because the three translators were Brahmins. No, it's a very special tradition. The Sampradaya I belong is very. They're all smoking. The teacher, the teacher is smoking. The teacher is smoking. But he had an incredible, but very different than Jean, because Maharaj had an incredible vital energy. Even when he was sick, he was very, very, very vertical, and he would yell, and he was like a tiger. Jean was very different. Maharaj was never silent. And he will joke people silent. There was some European in the front like that, and Maharaj will make joke and say, look, you sitting, you don't move, you're always thinking, I don't think, and I move, I don't think. So it was it's very special. I've never seen a phenomenon like that.
Did you feel you couldn't have two gurus at the same time? Was it two gurus, or because these two gurus were so different?
No, just two gurus.
Just two gurus. Why is that?
You cannot be in love totally with two women at the same time. So, and maybe you can. I don't know. But for me it was clear. But I knew if Jean was not there, I would have stayed there. But and Maharaj told me anyway after she died, he said, go back and see you go. You have nothing to do here. So it was clear for him too.
What about this city transmitting the awareness? Is it
Well, it's the present. The word CD is very relative. But Maharaj was transmitting mantras, but individually, not to me because I was not part of the game, but as some friend, he will translate them mantra, give them mantra. He will whisper to the ear the mantra. So that was a practice. Again, in the talks, he doesn't mention that, but in his inner teaching, he taught mantra.